soldiers lost their footing on ground that had turned to marsh beneath them. The very machines that had made Sisera invincible became anchors, dragging his army into chaos. The Lord threw Sisera and all his chariots and all his army into confusion and panic, and Israel's warriors, who had come down the mountain with nothing but faith and swords, swept through that valley like a flood. Not one soldier in Sisera's army was left standing. The most feared military force in the region, 900 iron chariots and the full strength of Canaan's army, was completely destroyed in a single afternoon. Every soldier fell by the sword. Every chariot was abandoned in the mud. The God of Israel had gone out before his people, just as Deborah had said, and he had not missed. But Sisera himself was not among the dead. When the battle turned and his army collapsed around him, Sisera did what no one expected the great commander to do. He ran. He abandoned his chariot. He abandoned his soldiers. He fled on foot, alone, away from the battlefield, away from the carnage, and away from the pursuing Israelites. He was no longer a commander. He was a fugitive, and he was running toward what he believed was the one place in the region where he might find safety. There was a man named Heber the Kenite, whose clan had separated from the other Kenites and settled near Kadesh. Heber had maintained a peace treaty with King Jabin of Canaan.
Welcome, friends. Our peace holds strong. Indeed, Heber, King Jabin sends his regards, and ours to him.
Sisera knew this. He made his way to Heber's camp, calculating that among friends of Canaan, he would be protected and hidden until the storm passed. As he approached the tent, a woman came out to meet him. Her name was Jael, the wife of Heber. "Come in, my lord," she said. "Come into my tent. Don't be afraid."
You are safe here, warrior. Come, rest inside.
She ushered him inside. She covered him with a warm blanket when he was cold.
You are safe now. Let me help you.
Thank you for your kindness.
Rest, the storm will pass.
When he asked for water, she gave him milk, something richer and more comforting, and she let him drink. Sisera exhaled.
Please, a drink.
Here, fresh milk.
He had escaped. He had survived. He was hidden, warm and fed, tucked inside a tent in the camp of an ally. He gave Jael one instruction. Stand at the entrance of the tent. If anyone comes and asks whether there is a man here, say no.
Jael, I need your help. Close the entrance. No one must know I'm here. They are searching for me. You must not let them in.
Then, exhausted from the battle, from the running, from the fear, the most feared military commander of his generation closed his eyes. And he slept. What happened next was quiet. There was no battle cry, no army, no fanfare. Jael moved carefully. She picked up a tent peg, the kind used every day to anchor a dwelling to the ground. She picked up a hammer. She approached the sleeping man who had terrorized a nation for 20 years, and with steady, deliberate hands, she drove the tent peg through his temple and into the ground. Sisera never woke. The prophecy Deborah had spoken was fulfilled with stunning precision. The glory of Sisera's defeat had not gone to Barak. It had gone to a woman, not the prophetess who called the army, not the warrior who led the charge, but to a woman in a tent with a hammer and a tent peg who chose courage in the one moment it was needed. When Barak arrived at Jael's tent, still pursuing Sisera, she came out to meet him.
Come inside.
"Come,
Sisera,
she said simply. "I will show you the man you are looking for." And there inside the tent lay Sisera, dead, just as God had spoken through Deborah before a single soldier had marched. That same day, God subdued Jabin, king of Canaan, before the Israelites. And from that moment, Israel grew stronger and stronger against Jabin until they had completely destroyed him. The oppression was over. The roads were open, the villages were free, and the iron chariots that had cast a shadow over Israel for 20 years were nothing more than rusting metal buried in the mud of the Kishon River. In the aftermath of the victory, Deborah and Barak sang. Their song, recorded in the 5th chapter of Judges, is one of the oldest surviving
I will
poems
sing to
in
the
all of human
Lord.
history. It is a song that does not let the memory of suffering fade. It names the tribes that answered the call. It honors those who risked their lives. It describes the stars fighting from heaven. It speaks of the river Kishon sweeping the enemy away. It celebrates the village roads that had fallen silent, now ringing again with the sound of life. It honors Jael above all women, the most blessed of tent-dwelling women, the poem declares, for what she did in the stillness of that tent. And it closes with a vision of Sisera's mother, standing at a window, watching the road, waiting for her son to return from a victory that never came. It is a poem that holds both the weight of suffering and the joy of deliverance without letting go of either. When the singing was done and the story was told and the last enemy had been driven back, the land had rest. 40 years of peace settled over Israel. 40 years, an entire generation growing up without the sound of chariots on the road. Children who had known nothing but fear, learning what it felt like to walk freely in their own land. Farmers returning to fields they had abandoned. Travelers moving again on roads that had been empty for 2 decades. All of it flowing from one day. One battle, one flood, one tent. One woman who sat under a palm tree and listened when God spoke. One man who refused to go without the presence of God beside him. One woman who, in the silence of a tent, chose not to look away. The story of Deborah is a story that refuses to let us shrink God into the predictable. He does not always choose the person with the title, the sword, or the strategy. He does not always move the way we expect him to move. He did not send Israel a great king that day. He sent a prophetess, a reluctant general, and a woman with a tent peg. And through those 3, he shattered the most powerful military force in the regions and gave his people 40 years of peace. There is something in this story for every person who has ever felt overlooked, every person who has ever wondered whether God could use someone like them. Deborah had no army of her own. Barak had no chariots. Jael had no weapon except what was already in her hands. But each of them, in their own moment, chose obedience over fear. They stepped into the role God had prepared for them, not the role the world had assigned to them. And because of that, the impossible became history. Perhaps you are in a season that looks like 20 years of oppression. Perhaps the iron chariots in your life feel too many, too heavy, too fast to outrun. Perhaps you have been told, quietly or loudly, that someone like you does not belong in the story. But Deborah's story says otherwise. It says that God sees what others overlook. It says that his word does not return empty. It says that when God calls you to the mountain, the river is already rising in the valley. It says that the moment you choose to obey, even when the numbers are impossible, God has already gone out before you. He is not waiting to see if you are strong enough. He is waiting to see if you are willing. Because the God who flooded a valley and stopped 900 iron chariots with rain is still the same God today. And your story, like Deborah's, may be far from over. Rise. He has already gone before you.